This episode tells the story of the greatest trade network, the birth, prosperity, and decline of the Silk Road, from Zhang Qian's solitary adventure to the western regions, to the prosperous picture of all nations in China, how silk changed the extravagant customs of the Roman Empire, to how Buddhism spread to the central plains along the trade routes, from the camel bells, gold and spices flowed, to the opening of the age of navigation, the gradual decline of the land Silk Road. This is not the story of a road, but the first real encounter between. The first epic encounter between the East and the West. It changed the fate of all countries along the way, and shaped the world we know today. In the 2nd century BC, in the distant city of Rome, a noble lady wore a piece of a divine fabric from the East to a court ball. When she walked into the whole room was quiet, because no one had ever seen such a fabric before. It was lighter than feathers, and softer than flowing water. It was almost transparent in the sun. The Romans called it Ceres, which means the people of the land of silk. They didn't know where this country was. They only knew that it would cost an astonishing. But the road connecting East and West didn't exist at that time. There were no road signs, no post stations, only vast gobi and ferocious nomads. And the one who opened all this was not a merchant, nor a general, but a diplomat who was captured, imprisoned, and exiled for 10 years. His name was Zhang Qian. In 141 BC, Chang'an City was the most prosperous city in the world. The emperor of the Han Empire sat in the Golden Palace, overlooking this vast land. But a huge threat lay before him: the northern Huns. These nomadic people swept across the grassland like a storm. Every southward invasion meant burning, killing, and looting. Emperor Liu Xie of Han made a bold decision. He not only wanted to defend, but also take the initiative. He would send envoys across the desert to find the long-lost ally, the Dai USA, to attack the Huns from behind. Zhang Qian stepped forward. He volunteered to accept this almost impossible mission. Crossing the grassland controlled by the Huns, climb over snowy mountains and deserts, find the Dai USA people who had migrated for hundreds of years, and convinced them to join forces against the Huns. No one knew how far the road was, how many people died on the way, or what was waiting for him, but he accepted the imperial edict. At that moment, he didn't know that he was opening would change the entire human civilization. 10 years later, when Zhang Qian returned to Chang'an with a broken body, what he brought back was not a military alliance treaty. Probably, he had settled down in his new home and didn't want to fight anymore. But he brought back something even more precious: a map and all the knowledge about the Western world. This road will be measured by those who come later. This Silk Road will flow in the next. For 2,000 years, gold, faith, and civilization flowed. In 138 BC, Zhang Qian set off from Chang'an with 100 people. They crossed the Han Empire to the west, the last inch of land controlled by the Han Empire, and entered the Hexi Corridor. This vast grassland and gobi were the pastures of the Huns. A few years after their departure, fatal blow to them, the entire mission was surrounded by the Huns cavalry. Zhang Qian and most of his entourage were captured. The Xiongnu Khan did not kill him, but said that since we don't have Chinese leather shoes, how could Han know about us? If you submit to us, I will let you manage the tribe like us. Zhang Qian was under house arrest on the grassland. He was given a woman from the Xiongnu as his wife, a good horse, and a grassland. For 10 years, he changed from a strong man into a middle-aged man with white hair. But Zhang Qian did not forget his mission. The Han flag he carried with him, which represented the identity of a Han envoy, he never threw it away. During the 10 years, he ostensibly obeyed the Huns, but secretly waiting for an opportunity. Finally one day, he took advantage of the guards' inattention and rode a fast horse westward. This time, he was not running away, but to fulfill a promise. Zhang Qian crossed the vast gobi alone and climbed over the steep snow-capped mountains, and finally arrived at the country of Dong, today's Fergana Valley in Central Asia. The civilization here was completely different from the Central Plains. Cities were built with bricks and stones. People grow grapes and wheat, and raised a horse called the Qian. The king of Dong had long heard of the Han Empire in the east. When he saw Zhang Qian, the envoy from thousands of miles away, he was overjoyed. Zhang Qian stayed in Dong for several months. and persuaded the king to send guides to escort him to the USA. But the real test had just begun. He had to cross the Congolene, which is today's Pamir Plateau, where the altitude is over 4,000 meters, where the air was so thin that it was hard to breathe. In winter, the snow was several meters deep. His team struggled to move forward among the cliffs, and could fall into the abyss at any time. Finally, Zhang Qian reached the USA. At this time, they had already settled in the Amu River Valley in Central Asia, and established a new home. The king of the USA saw the envoy of Han Dynasty, the envoy from thousands of miles away. He was deeply moved, but to his disappointment, the people of the USA had already lived a prosperous life on the new land. They no longer wanted to return to the distant north to join the Han in attacking the Huns. In 1206 BC, Zhang Qian returned to Chang'an with a tired body. Emperor Wu personally went out to meet him. This was the highest honor for an envoy. But at this time, only less than 10 people were left by Zhang Qian. From over 100 who set off, either died in the desert, or fell at the foot of the snowy mountains, or were killed by the Huns. The information and maps he brought back enabled the Han Dynasty to truly understand the western regions. Zhang Qian was appointed as the Grand Merchant, and was responsible for receiving envoys from the western regions. But he did not forget to remind Emperor Wu, the countries in the western regions were completely different. They were not used to the political rules of the Central Plains, and would not be completely conquered by force. To gain a foothold there, it was not the army, but trade and diplomacy. What he doesn't know is the map he brought back, changing the course of the world. In 115 BC, Zhang Qian made his second mission. This time, he led a large team of 300 people. Each carried pieces of silk as gifts, and a large amount of gold, silver, cattle, sheep, and grain. This was not a secret diplomacy. This was a dignified official visit. The envoys of the Han Dynasty flooded into the western regions. Doan, Kanzhi, the USA, Yangtze, Bosi, Xinhu, and India. Each country received the Han Empire's generous gifts and invitation to establish diplomatic relations. Several years later, Zhang Qian passed away in Chang'an at around 60 years of age. But the road was not safe. There were bandits in the desert, and there were nomadic cavalry on the mountain passes. There were no supply stations between oases. Emperor Wu realized that if the Silk Road was to truly operate, diplomacy alone was not enough. He must use force to protect the trade route. He sent Wei Qing and Hue Qubing to attack the Huns in the north, capturing the Hexi corridor, and establish Wu Wei, Zhenji, Zheng Huang, Zhu Yuan. He also built the Yumen and Yangguan passes, became the third between the Central Plains and the western regions. The name Yumen Pass is full of poetry and desolation. Why should the food complain about willows? The spring breeze doesn't reach the Yumen Pass. From the perspective of the Central Plains people passing through this pass, it was another world. Desert, oasis, snow-capped mountains, exotic people, different languages and beliefs. But it was this pass that opened the door to the exchange of civilizations. The Silk Road was not planned by anyone. It was created by countless merchants, monks, envoys, soldiers, step by step with their footsteps and lives. Imagine such a picture. The caravan, composed of hundreds of Bactrian camels, is slowly crossing the Taklamakan Desert. The name Inuga means entering, but not coming out. Camelbacks carried from silk, porcelain, and tea from China, and Persian silverware, Indian spices, and Roman glass. The merchants wore different ethnic costumes and spoke different languages, but they are all moving in the same direction. The nights in the desert are the most important. It's the most important social place. At the oasis inn, merchants from China, Persia, India, and Greece. Merchants gathered around the campfire to exchange information. Where is water? Where robbers are? Which king of the city stout is in a good mood and can reduce tariffs? These seemingly trivial pieces of information are often more valuable than gold. A wrong message may make the entire caravan bankrupt. But the most terrifying thing in the desert is not bandits, but nature itself. The annual precipitation in the Taklamakan Desert receives less than 100 millimeters of precipitation, and in some years, there is not even a drop of rain. A sudden sandstorm can bury a caravan in a few minutes. Camels have a magical ability. Before a sandstorm comes, they will kneel down, using their bodies to block the wind and sun. Many travelers on the Silk Road believed that it was the camel that saved their lives. Silk is the most precious commodity on the Silk Road, and the origin of its name. The technology of raising silkworms and spinning silk was kept secret, and the liquor was executed. It took the Romans centuries to figure out where this magical fabric came from. Some thought it grew on trees, while others thought it was from the forest. Until the 6th century AD, two Byzantine monks successfully hid silkworm eggs in bamboo sticks and smuggled them out. But silk was only half of the story. Porcelain, tea, and ironware also flowed westward, and what came eastward were grapes, walnuts, carrots, sesame, and cucumbers. Today, the most common vegetables on Chinese tables, more than half of them were introduced from the west through the Silk Road. Goods on the Silk Road were transferred through layers, and the price will increase exponentially. A silk with 100 coin in China might be sold for 10,000 gold coins in Rome. Every middleman makes a profit. Every dangerous journey requires protection fees. But the demand never stopped, because the luxury goods from the east were always in short supply in the west, and the gold and glass from the west are equally fascinating in the east. There are even more precious things. The sweating horse changed Chinese cavalry tactics. Glassware made the Chinese see the transparent miracle for the first time. The Silk Road is not just a channel for goods, but also a river of ideas. Around the 1st century AD, Buddhism was introduced to China from India through Central Asia. This is one of the most important cultural exchange events in human history. Monks from India went north along the trade routes in Dunhuang, Kuka, Gaoshan, and other oasis cities to preach. They carved grottos on the cliffs and painted murals, leaving behind the world wonders like the Mogao grottos. Buddhism was just a belief that came along the Silk Road. Later, Zoroastrianism, Manichaeism, Nestorianism, Christian Nestorianism, Islam also spread into China along this road. In turn, Confucian classics and Taoist rituals also spread westward. The Silk Road really changed the world. It made people of different civilizations realize that there was another way of living in the world, another belief, and another way of thinking about the world. In Chang'an in the 7th century AD was the largest and most prosperous city on earth, with a population of 1 million, larger than Constantinople at that time, and Baghdad combined. The city was divided into 108 blocks. Each quarter had walls and gates. There were 2 huge commercial streets, East Market and West Market. Every day from dawn to late night were crowded with merchants from all over the world. Persians, Arabs, Indians, Japanese, Korean, and Vietnamese. More than 30 languages were spoken on the streets of Chang'an. The Huron restaurant in Shishi was the busiest place in Chang'an. Merchants from Persia opened taverns, selling wine made from grapes, which was a kind of wine never seen in China before. The restaurant played the lute and harp. Singers sang new songs from the western regions. Li Bai wrote a poem, "Where to go after the flowers are gone," and laughed in the whole restaurant. A young man in the spring when petals fell entered a Persian tavern to drink and sing. This is the daily life of Chang'an in the prosperous town. But the prosperity of Chang'an was not just about market life. In the north of the city, the imperial palace stands majestically. It was the power center of the empire, and also the ultimate beneficiaries of the Silk Road trade. Tributes from the western regions were continuously sent to the palace. Fine horses, treasures, spices, and rare animals. The Tang Emperor controlled the Silk Road trade, gained great wealth and prestige. The Yangtze Protectorate's army stationed in the western regions. Army protected the safety of the trade route, and the taxes from the trade route supported the army. This is a perfect cycle. The Silk Road made the Tang Empire stronger. The powerful empire made the Silk Road more prosperous. In the story of the Silk Road, there is a group of people almost ignored by everyone. But they were the real players on this road. They are the Sogdians, a small nation from Central Asia. Today, the Samarkand area of Uzbekistan. They didn't have a large army, no vast territory, but they built across Eurasia, from Chang'an to the Caspian Sea. Every few hundred kilometers, there was a Sogdian trading post. They were the earliest multinational companies, 1,000 years earlier than any European East India Company. The most powerful thing about the Sogdians lies in their language skills. They usually learn multiple languages from childhood: Chinese, Persian, Sanskrit, and Turkic, which enabled them to do business anywhere. They also invented a unique writing system. Letters and ledgers were found in Zhanghuang Mega gratons and became one of the most important historical materials. Sogdian merchants not only did commodity trade, but also served as translators, guides, diplomats, consultants, and even military mercenaries. The Sogdians' influence on China went beyond trade. Many of them eventually integrated into Chinese society. They changed their surnames, married Chinese, held high positions in the Tang government. But the most famous and controversial figure was a Russian, a general of Sogdian and Turkic blood. He launched the Yanshai rebellion that changed the fate of Tang. The rebellion almost destroyed the prosperity of the Tang and made the Tang emperor to be vigilant of foreigners from the West. The golden age of the Silk Road is approaching its twilight. The decline of the Silk Road on land didn't happen overnight. Since the 8th century, a series of events like dominoes have toppled this ancient trade route like dominoes. First, the Tang dynasty declined after the Yanshai rebellion, losing control of the western regions. The Chubo occupied the Hexi corridor, cutting off the road from the Central Plains to Central Asia. Then came the rise of the Arab Empire. They defeated the Tang army in the Battle of Taurus. Although they only controlled Central Asia for decades, it had already shaken the Tang's foundation in the western regions. What's more, the Silk Road became a route. It had to pass through more than a dozen regimes and pay countless tolls. A caravan starting from Chang'an, it may pass through the Tang dynasty, US, Chubo, Kushan, Sogdian city-states, and the Arab governorate. Taxes were paid everywhere. By the 13th century, the Mongols unified the entire Silk Road and established the safest trade route in history. But at that time, the golden age of the Silk Road, the golden age had passed for 500 years. When the land Silk Road was gradually declining, another route was rising, the maritime Silk Road. Since the Song dynasty, China's shipbuilding technology and navigation capabilities, Fuchuan and Guangchuan ships could carry goods several hundred times more than camels, without crossing deserts, climbing mountains, and paying tolls to dozens of regimes. A Chinese merchant ships could carry the same amount of goods as hundreds of camels. More importantly, cost only 1/10 of land transportation. In the early Ming dynasty, Zheng He sailed 7 voyages to the west, which was the most spectacular sea expedition in human history. His fleet had over 200 ships and more than 20,000 crew members. They reached as far as the east coast of Africa, 80 years earlier than Columbus' discovery of America, over 100 years earlier than Vasco da Gama rounding Cape of Good Hope. But ironically, when Zheng He's treasure ships was dominating the Indian Ocean, Europeans were still struggling to build a ship that could cross the Atlantic. The peak of the maritime Silk Road was also the beginning of its end, because from this moment on, the world's protagonists will shift from the east to the west. Counting from the day Zhang Qian set off, the Silk Road has been around for over 2,000 years. It has changed the destinies of countless people. It made a nation know the distant world because of a silk, and also let another civilization find and found spiritual home because of a belief. Today, when we walk in front of the Moga grottos in Zhanghuang and look at the murals that span different cultures, when we taste the wine from the western regions and tea from India, when we use the numbers originated from Arabs, we are all enjoying the legacy left by the Silk Road to us. The true meaning of the Silk Road lies in what commodities it transported, but that it proved that humans can overcome language and race to communicate and understand. This road was never invented by one person. It was built by countless merchants, monks, envoys, soldiers, step by step with their footsteps and lives. Its name was not officially named, but by European scholars to centuries later, when they studied ancient documents. But the soul of this road never belongs to an empire or a culture. It belongs to all those who dare to go to the unknown. The Silk Road is a common story of humanity, More than 3,000 years ago, Zhang Qian set off westward with the Han flag. He didn't know where the road would lead, or if he could return alive. But he took the first step, and this step changed the world.